has a different, let's see here, not that YouTube. He has a different artist here today. We've been listening to Dougie's, I think, son's band, Drop Dead Brilliant, lately, but he pitched a new song today from a different artist who's actually a composer, I believe in Germany, David Wide, W-I-D-E. The song is called Hurt, and I previewed just to see what this was all about, and I think it's an instrumental, but I didn't really listen to the whole thing. So let's get into Hurt by David Wide. Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, that's a big departure from your other stuff that you submitted. Let me go back, see if I can do this without the ads. Yeah, very well done, Dougie. I'm not sure how you're connected with David Wide, but it says provided by YouTube by Denmark Music Group, and I think he said he's a composer based in Germany. Yeah, I mean, it's, several people mentioned in chat here, film score. Yeah, for sure. That's the obvious thing is it could work for a film, maybe a commercial or something like that as well. I would probably even steer you towards video games with this one because it almost has that type of appeal to me. And personally, I probably do more video game oriented stuff than even independent films that would use this style of music. The indie films that I've worked on, for the most part, haven't really synced a lot of film score type of music like this. They actually go for songs. They really like songs with vocals, not unlike Drop Dead Brilliant, which is your other band that you have submitted several songs of. So I find it almost easier to place a song with lyrics from a band or an artist into an independent film than I do placing a piece of music like this. And I don't know why that is, other than perhaps with an independent film, sometimes they will hire their own composer who does all this type of stuff for that film. So that could be what's going on. That might be why that's the case. I think this song could go in a library for sure, though. I mean, a library could probably pitch it for things like video games and so forth. So I would definitely steer you toward that. It would not work in like radio or retail rotation or any of my non-sync oriented placement opportunities, I don't think, because it's obviously very slow and low paced, and it's really geared for something to be a music bed, where there's some dialogue over the top maybe, or there's some other story going on screen where you really just need the feeling, the emotive quality that the song would bring to the scene versus having it be a standalone piece that's being featured, like in a retail situation or radio. So I think that's probably fairly obvious, but hopefully that is clear. Let's go look at the comments in chat here. Yeah, nice pads, Charles says. Yeah, very good. I kind of like the vocal type of effect that it had. It sounded like it was pretty much all synthesizer-oriented stuff, which is good, and this is really well done. So good job. And tell David, nice work. The only thing that concerns me is it may not be enough different or enough unique enough for it to be something that would really stand out to when you compare it to other composers who do similar styles and similar type of work for similar projects. Let me know, Dougie, if David has had any luck as far as, is he an ongoing working composer? Is he doing films? Is he doing maybe commercials or library music or whatever? Let me know. I'm interested to learn a little bit more. Oh, Dougie says, yep. Okay, good. Well, if he's a working composer, then this is the only piece I've heard. So it could be that he has other pieces that are even more elaborate, with more things going on. This one's primarily geared towards, underscore and pads and stuff like that, like we've kind of talked about. So, but anyways, let's see here. See if there's anything else. Might need more dynamics. I often hear that music supervisors will look at the WAV file to see if it's flat or if it has more dynamics. Yeah, exactly. I do that myself. Yeah, and it is. It's not particularly dynamic. However, it is very useful in the right situation. So I think that's a plus. And it's really well done. I mean, it sounds professional. It doesn't sound overly midified, which I've gone into many explanations in these live streams as to why these days you don't want things to be overtly MIDI sounding and synthetic for the most part. Now, sometimes you know that might be required for the sync placement or whatever. It could still work. especially if you're doing something, if it's MIDI oriented and it sounds like something from the 80s or 90s or whatever, if that's what the visual is about, then you would want that. But otherwise, it's really tough to place overly MIDI stuff. And I have to tell people that a lot of times who will submit songs. And it's a great MIDI demo, in a lot of cases. That's not really what I'm saying about David's song here, though, because to me it doesn't sound overly MIDI. I think it's really well done. It's a good mixture, even if it is 100% synthetic, which it could be. Yeah, it does sound great. I agree, Christina. Let's jump around here and hear just a little bit more. That's a really cool album cover too. I like that heart. It's really neat. I mean, you could probably hear the auto panning back and forth. I think that does actually give it some more interesting quality, actually. That real gassy sounding synthesizer is really cool sounding. It definitely sounds synthetic, but it's really cool. It works really well, I think. And the like analog strings, I guess. Yeah, but good stuff. Good stuff. I like it a lot. It's really cool. Yeah, sparkly, Charles says. I agree. It is. And it's something that could be useful in the right situations. I think it's fairly specific sounding as far as what we could use it for, But I think if it was in a library situation, that's something that could potentially pay off in the long run, because you might get more exposure to opportunities by having that song in a library where, it might be the perfect fit for some scene in a film or a TV show or something like that. So good job. I think video games would also be a big plus for this one. I think that could work well in the right game. Obviously, if it's a game that is really intense and high energy, it probably wouldn't work unless there's, and you guys probably know, I'm not a gamer, but I do know the video game scores are basically built almost like independent or like feature films are. So there are scenes in video games where you might have maybe someone is in a lonely situation, or somebody is just killed or something like that in the storyline, and then you might have something like this where someone's reflecting on that person or that character or whatever in the middle of a video game, which sounds like a movie, but you do have that kind of stuff. So I guess it could work, in the right scene. In even a high energy type of video game. So just so you know that. Yeah, enduring, Charles says. I agree. The art is really good, and let's see, very impactful. Just submitted Jamal Plummer's new single "Higher" for review. Oh, okay, Stefan. Okay, great. Well, I'll take a look at that. And then, so Charles, Dougie, I think that song is something that I could probably help you with, but I think we're a little more limited on this one than we are on the Drop Dead Brilliant stuff, which I thought was Drop Dead Brilliant. And so just let me know if David has other tracks that you I guess he probably does have other tracks that are a little more up tempo and high energy, because that's the kind of thing that I personally could help you with more than these low energy type things. But I do think it's good. So nice work. Good job, Dougie. He said it's not overly late where he is. I think he's in Scotland, so several hours ahead. I think he's about 6 or 7 hours ahead of me. So anyways, thanks so much, Dougie. We will move on to the next track. We've got